What is your and you can come back to me on this later. I want to hear a 6-word review of 60 seconds. How would you describe this movie to me in 6 words? Because I got one ready, locked and loaded, but I want to hear yours.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
Right now, I got one.
Yeah, go on.
Cars go fast. Nothing else matters.
Oh, well done. Okay, yeah, I had a similar
Go on.
one. No, it's not great.
All right.
Well, no, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
Make car go vroom vroom, fellas.
Trying to me lately.
It's a shame that modern day phones don't open with Gavin DeGraw anymore. Man's performing in Oslo.
I don't think any films open with Gavin DeGraw.
He's out in the world. He's in fucking Bern, Switzerland, Denmark.
That's how you know you've made it, when you're in Bern.
Yeah.
Everyone says it's all for Bern. I've been
Set
doing
the
this.
stage on fire.
Whenever they get there, they're always like, "This is what I've worked for." That's the Rolling Stones. That's my impression of Mick Jagger. Is this what we've always wanted, bruv?
Wait, where's he from?
Mick Jagger?
Yeah.
England.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what, Mr. I know all the musics.
You know who's
Okay.
also from England who sounds just like that too, because everyone from England sounds just like that? Christopher Eccleston.
Oh, fucking Christopher.
The villain of the
Eccleston.
film we're talking about today.
What are we talking about today?
Well, maybe
How you say?
how you say Gone in 60 Seconds, one of the greatest films of the turn of the century.
Greatest. I mean,
Yeah, greatest people have taste. God.
so many things happened in the Y2K.
And everyone celebrated when it was not a big deal, because then they knew that this film would come out.
And now this is one of the things that happened as
Yeah.
a result.
You know what's wild? You know what I wanted to say first and foremost about this movie? I've expressed my deep love and admiration for the Fast and the Furious franchise in the past.
Of course.
And while this movie is different in many, many ways,
It has a plot.
it has like a plot, and
Yeah.
I would argue, I mean, if you're thinking of Gone in 60 Seconds versus Fast and the Furious 1, I would argue they're comparable in quality. Although I think this movie is better than Fast and the Furious 1, and I will also say has a better cast. However, this movie just had no impact. I mean, it made $200 million at the box office, but it's like, it's so interesting to see those two films very close together in time, and one spawns a massive franchise of high quality films, and another is just completely dismissed. Is it fair? Probably. I don't really know or care, but you know.
Please God, let it end. There is no old OG version of Fast and Furious like Gone in 60 Seconds, right?
What do you mean?
Like it's what is it, a 70s movie? A 60s?
The original Gone in 60 Seconds is a 70s film, which
70s
I've
film.
never seen. You know what I think? You know what I think it is now that we're here talking about it, and this is going to be a 3-hour long
Oh,
epic,
for
because
fuck's
this
has
movie,
to be exactly 60 minutes on the dot.
It's actually 60 seconds. All right, bye. I think because the people in this film, like outside of this movie, are kind of like even kind of grimier than in Fast and the Furious, whereas Fast and the Furious are all kind of like, I mean, yeah, they're criminals, but like, you know, kind of Robin Hood-ish criminals, and they're all kind of cleaned up and well-to-do, whereas like Giovanni Ribisi in this is just such a greaseball.
Man, Giovanni Ribisi sounds like his whole thing is to sound like he's just been woken up from a 4-hour nap. He's like, I'm going to go to bed for 5 minutes, wake me up, and someone didn't. And then he wakes up after 4 hours like, I don't understand.
I don't know,
Is it-
man.
Is it
Yeah, it's-
evening or morning?
Oh man, I slept for too long.
And that's his acting method across his 20-year whatever
Um,
career.
I kind of think Giovanni Ribisi is one of the most underrated actors
I love him.
in a long
Don't
time.
get me wrong.
I think that his performance in Saving Private Ryan is like really stunning.
Hell yeah.
And have you ever seen The Virgin Suicides?
No.
He's not in that film, but he's the narrator of that movie, and
Oh,
I think
sick.
that was a really, really incredible idea for casting because he has such a unique voice
I mean, when you
by
call a
Sofia
movie
Coppola.
that,
Yeah,
when it's called Virgin Suicide,
it's a
you might as
good
well get
fucking
'em.
movie too. Yeah, young Josh Hartnett, our boy, our favorite.
You know
favorite
what?
wee
You're
little
throwing
man.
around a lot of words today.
Yeah,
Greatest
Josh
movie.
Hartnett is the best actor of all
Josh
time, and this
Hartnett's
movie is
favorite.
the second best movie of all time besides
Ah.
Neon Demon.
Ah.
We've established it. You said it earlier.
Hey.
You said it off mic so you'd have some plausible deniability. And yet here we are, and you're too afraid. You're too afraid to live your truth, Pri.
What's my truth?
Your truth is that this movie fucking rules.
No.
Yeah, so anyway, this is your favorite film.
Do not besmirch the good word of Pri.
Definitely one of the best films we've done so far.
You know what? You know me to be an ardent Cage fan. Okay, who isn't? Right?
Yeah.
And I love the man. I love all his madness. I love everything he does. I feel like he's not in this movie until maybe one Evel Knievel scene in the end. And the rest of it is just like, here's 400 other people you can look at.
Yeah,
and
there's
be
this
distracted
cast
by.
is insanely large
Insufferable. Yes.
and lots of them, yeah, unfortunately are insufferable.
And to me, it's just like, man, this is not a Nick Cage film. This is just a diluted Michael Bay fucking. It's not him. I know it's what's your face, Dominic
Senna.
Yeah. But it just feels like I just wanted like some Transformers to emerge from somewhere.
It
I
is
was
a
like, am I being
Bruckheimer
punked?
joint. So
Yeah.
like the thing I wrote down that like it definitely seems like it was like, all right, maybe we can get Bay to do this. And he was like, fuck no, I have to make a movie about Pearl Harbor called Pearl Harbor. And then they were like, what about like Tony Scott? And he was like, fuck no.
Yeah.
I gotta make something else. I don't know what. And then they came to Dominic Senna, who I don't really have any real opinion on. But this movie does kind of feel like it has aspects of Bay and Scott, but it just never quite reaches any of their picadillos, you know, their quaint charms.
It's Walmart, Bay and Scott. It's not.
It's
very
pretty,
discount.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to reveal that when we met on a dating app, what you were in the middle of when we started chatting?
I was in the middle of a very, very important Nicolas Cage movie marathon.
And you had never seen this movie.
And this wasn't on it because
because you guys don't have very good taste.
Excuse you, sir. I've
Yeah.
already partaken in Season of the Witch by the famed director, Mr. Dominic Senna. So, which, incidentally, 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's real
What
classic.
a loss.
Yeah.
That movie is decent. And that movie is like a poor man's Kingdom of Heaven. Change my mind. No one can. I love it. If you want to watch it with me one day.
Oh, yeah, I do, definitely.
Let's do it.
It's got the Queen in it. It's got fucking
It's got the Queen.
Yeah, it's got the Queen. Yeah, so Gone in 60 Seconds. We've done a run of films that I just like watched all the time when I was a kid. I think a friend of mine had this on VHS, and we just fucking must have worn that tape out. This movie was lit at the time.
Did you feel the same way passionately as you did rewatching it now?
God, no. No, it's not a very good film. It's
not even for the quality of the film or plot or anything like that, but did it instill feelings of nostalgia?
Yeah, for sure. It has its charms. Like it has I don't think everything about this movie is bad. I think there are parts of it that are good. I think it's like a competently made film. But like and here's a few things. I actually do like Cage in this. I think he's good because he's very laid back.
Restrained.
And then there are moments where he like freaks out, which is really funny.
That's great.
I really like Delroy Lindo. I think here's my big rewrite of this film. Cut Angelina Jolie completely. Because she's not good in this. And it's crazy that she went from winning an Academy Award to being in this film. Cut her completely. Not that I dislike her. I just don't think she's very good in this movie. Also, just the idea of her character is just so over the top and silly. And she's just got this like crazy hairdo. And hold on. her and Cage have zero chemistry. But Cage and Delroy Lindo, on the other hand, I want to watch those fucking guys talk all day.
Touch faces.
Yeah, and Cage and Robert Duvall, like just fantastic.
Oh my god, this movie is all Duvall, baby.
Oh,
this
Duvall is
Duvall all day.
And again, so Duvall is. I also like Duvall in this. I also think, besides Ribisi, who's not incredible in this movie, another one of cinema and television's most underrated actors, Will Patton, is in this, and he's just fucking great. He's really good in this movie. And the thing is, he's taking it really seriously, and I love that about him. I love that about his role in this. Yeah.
What is your and you can come back to me on this later. I want to hear a 6-word review of 60 seconds. How would you describe this movie to me in 6 words? Because I got one ready, locked and loaded, but I want to hear yours.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
Right now, I got one.
Yeah, go on.
Cars go fast. Nothing else matters.
Oh, well done. Okay, yeah, I had a similar
Go on.
one. No, it's not great.
All right.
Well, no, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
Make car go vroom vroom, fellas. That's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one. See, and to your point, we don't need Angelina Jolie because then my 6-word story wouldn't work.
100%. Yeah.
Perfect.
So here's my other thing that I think that this film kind of missed out on. And I understand because it was the 2000s and I'm sure the studio was like, you can't do that. But I want to know how to steal cars. Like, I want to have a film that's about like the competence porn of stealing cars.
Yeah.
I want them to be like, this is why and how you do it, you know? Because there are actually, that's kind of some of the stuff I like is how it shows them doing it, and there's some like a little bit of talk about how it's done and things. And like, but every time they do it, there's something unique, right?
Yeah.
Like the keys, the laser cut keys, and then there's scenes of like, there's the one where Nicolas Cage unscrews the light bulb and then he turns off the alarm through the thing. It's like, I like that stuff a lot.
Yeah.
And they just missed out on having that in this film. And they just could have cut like half of the cast to be a little more streamlined and lean, like, in Ocean's 11, that how
elaborate
everyone kind of has
Yeah.
a role and they're well placed, right? But in this, it just seems like, nah, not really.
This movie is the most fun part of this movie should have been the ragtag group of car thieves coming back together to do one great big heist. And even that is just like,
yeah. And you
boring.
know what another issue is like, I wrote this down. There's like
600
too many
people.
fist fights for a movie about stealing cars. And on top of that, I was like, when I rewatched this movie, because yes, I watched it twice this week, because to be fair, it goes down like a smooth drink of water.
Oh, boy.
It takes so long to get to the heist portion of the film.
Of course.
And it's frustrating, And even I remember this when I was really young watching this movie, and I think I definitely have this on DVD, so I've watched it like 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
There's a portion of the heist part even that gets really boring. And it's really annoying to me. There's a point halfway through the heist where I'm just kind of like, oh, God, this is so boring.
Yes.
Like, this part is just so, when things start to go wrong, I guess, which I understand from, like, a storytelling point of view that it kind of has to. But, like, when not Kip, who's the computer guy?
The kid from Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, another
Will
Tommy from Butterfly
Scott
Effect.
Sebastian. His name is Toby. So let's call him that.
Toby. When Toby gets shot,
Mm-hmm.
and when the Walmart Dave Chappelle and
oh my God,
big
he totally is a Walmart
big
Dave Chappelle.
big what's his face, the big English guy.
Yeah, Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones, and we're doing another Vinnie Jones.
Fucking what's up?
When they get like accosted in the Hummer and they
Mhm.
play the DMX song, that starts when I'm just kind of like, I don't know, and then it kind of picks up into a climactic like chase. But even the climactic chase is like a chase in 4 fucking sequences, and it's so long.
God. Okay, hold on. Before you go into all the details, just as a very high level for anybody who's never going to want to watch this movie ever again, a cast of 924 people come together to rob cars.
Yeah.
For a price of what, $200,000?
Yeah.
For them to get what, like $200 each? Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's doing the math on this thing?
Yeah.
What are the profits gonna be like?
So So it was funny because as I do, I kind of Googled and like looked on like Reddit and IMDb. I was like, do people like this movie? And a lot of the time it was like car people being like, I don't know, it's just nice to see a bunch of cool cars. And that's totally like, if that's your jam, that's fine with me. Very similar to how like if Sex in the City, if you're into ugly, horrible, expensive clothing, that's cool too.
Whoa.
But like,
that movie's the Ferrari of
Yeah,
car
sure.
body dresses.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
they should have named the cars after. Was Sex in the City?
Eleanor?
Would it have been on?
Yeah.
Could have named some of the cars after them.
Carrie.
There was
Miranda's.
a Samantha,
Yeah.
and there was a Charlotte on the board. I think. I
think there
bet
was a
I bet
Charlotte.
they're all there.
Oh.
I bet they're all represented. Anyway, though, I was kind of like people do kind of have a feeling like me, like this is just kind of like a fun popcorn movie that's not very good. And then, what the fuck was I gonna say?
You read it. You went down. Read it. The dollar money amount.
Yeah,
Was-
the money amount.
Yeah.
Someone brought up, they were like, the one thing that I really just can't believe is that and then I had never really thought of this because it just passed me by, but they were like, I can't believe that these guys did this job for $200,000.
Yeah.
And the other thing, when Nicolas Cage comes to rescue Kip,
Yeah.
now the money is split like 11 ways.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. They all get like $1,200 each.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But so someone else brought up, which was good, was like they were like, well, regardless, like Cage still has to rescue Kip from death.
Yes.
So the money is kind of besides the point.
Mhm.
But Kip does say, he's like, we're talking about a lot of money when they come to join, and it's like, you're not really. These cars are worth like millions of dollars.
Yeah, and they all quit their respectable jobs that pay probably just as much to come do this heist. Like Angelina Jolie's character is a successful bartender who also like fixes cars on the side. This
Mhm.
other guy that the other black guy that then the other Dave Chappelle guy, they all have.
That's Walmart Bernie Mac.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Bernie Mac and Dave
Yeah.
Chappelle in this fucking thing.
He quits his job being a car driving instructor where there's some
Dude.
pretty solid racist
Oh
humor
my
there.
God.
Jesus.
You know what? If he didn't drop in that little swimming joke, he could have gotten away with calling that
But
Asian
also
lady a bad driver.
just the fact that they cast this Asian lady as it's just like a complete stereotype. It's just
Yeah.
there's really not aged
Yo,
well.
man, I can't even ride a bicycle. So, you know what? I'm living the stereotype. I would be a terrible driver.
I don't know. As a non-racist, I don't know if that is a stereotype of Indians. If like oh man, they just can't ride a bike, man.
I feel like Indians must be just so goddamn good at driving anywhere else in the world because they've lived through the absolute worst driving in India.
Yeah, that too. I got a question for you.
Mhm.
Has there ever been a Hindi remake of this? Come on.
There's been a remake called Tarzan, which is a remake of David Hasselhoff's Car Show.
Oh, I don't even know
Knight
what that
Rider?
is. Sure, I don't know.
I think that's the closest thing I remember to cars.
Interesting.
Oh no, Doom! Fucking Doom's all about car chases and no, maybe not. You know what? I'll come back to this.
Yeah.
There's nothing Bollywood hasn't done.
Yeah, they make 6 million films a year. So, they probably make
Shout out to my boys.
they probably made 3 or 4 this year remaking
just
this movie.
all cars.
They're like, you know what? This was a big hit last year. Why don't we
Yeah.
why don't we make
Realistically
it?
though, like when they steal it, they're just stuck in traffic, so then you're just kind of inching your way to the nearest garage.
Gone in 40 minutes. Stupid.
Why are their names? They're thief names. Okay, these are obviously names they've picked. Just not good.
Well, I kind of had a thought that like Nicolas Cage is called Memphis Reigns, and I was like, this dude looks like an estate lawyer. Like, you're telling me his name is
Yeah.
fucking Memphis?
His name is something else, and his
Randall.
middle name is
Randall,
Memphis.
yeah. Yeah.
So Randall Reigns. All right. And then
I like that Delroy Lindo always calls him Randall.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have so much more chemistry than
100%.
you're totally right.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at with the cutting Jolie out. I think I don't know if I said it, but yeah.
This movie already passes the Bechdel test just because of Delroy Lindo's
No, it doesn't.
sweet, gentle,
There's 2
love
female characters.
forward.
They don't even make eye
Does it
contact.
absolutely need 2 women? Damn.
You don't know what the Bechdel test is?
I don't know that it needs 2. I just thought
Yeah,
it needed.
100%.
I thought it needed a woman to talk about anything but a man during
No.
the scene.
Two named female characters
Ah.
have to talk to each other about something other than a man.
Oh, they have to talk to each other.
Yes.
Well, then, fucking, I'm over here introspecting. Counts for nothing.
So I want to talk about one of the worst parts of this film, which I've already said is Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
And I just want to briefly touch on her career
Yeah.
because it's not interesting to me.
Well, she's tired, dude. She's got
Well,
4,000 children.
And that's great. She's adopted half of Africa, which is
Yeah.
amazing. But also, like, I was looking through her filmography, and she has a very robust filmography. Not to mention she's a director and stuff. Like, she's done a lot of, but like, man, has she never really done a great film?
You don't like Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
I have never seen it.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith isn't like The Godfather. Like, people are like
but
aware that it's not.
it's definitely not Gone in 60 Seconds. It's an
Yeah.
elevated experience.
It's not even the best. Is that a Doug Liman film?
Oh, shit.
It's not even the best Doug Liman film, if that's the case.
What's his best movie? Edge of Tomorrow?
Probably Edge of Tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Oh, Born Identity? Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, Born Identity as well. But like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's it's probably better than Gone in 60 Seconds, but it's about in the same tier of quality. Like, it's just a
No.
popcorn blockbuster.
No, I hard disagree. There's so much more intrigue. If anything, this movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, is a lot closer to Oceans than it is closer to Gone in 60 Seconds.
I guess so, but like, you're comparing one of the greatest films of all time to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I just don't think that's like.
How dare I? Gone in 60 Seconds.
I'm not denying that Mr. and Mrs. Smith is probably better than Gone in 60 Seconds, but to
You
be
keep
like,
saying probably, it's so
but it's like,
infuriating.
you're like, it's closer to Ocean's 11. It's like, yeah, I guess so. The way that like 499 is closer to 1 than 500 is like, yeah,
all right,
sure.
okay. I will not stand here for some Jolie slander.
No, I just
No, she's been pretty mediocre in this.
no,
movie.
she's not a mediocre. She's an
this
Academy
movie.
Award winner, right? She's not mediocre in this movie. She's bad. She's really not good. And to be fair to Jolie, it's not her fault. Not a good,
Yeah.
well-written character
No
in
direction.
the least.
Yeah.
There, and as we just talked about, there's like, this is not really a fucking female-centric movie at all.
Mm-mm.
And that shows when like the way they deal with a female character is to make her almost characterless, which is
Yeah.
very, she's not good, and it's not totally her fault. She doesn't have a lot to work with, but like, and she's not the only not good actor in this film. But like her, I was just like looking at her career, and I'm just like, oh, none of these really have ever moved me,
No. No.
And we can talk about it more when we inevitably cover the Eternals, but like, it's weird that that's kind of the latest thing that she did,
oh,
right?
shit, right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you texted me out of the blue to add one of her movies to our list, Unbroken, right? That's a Jolie pick. Yeah.
Oh. I don't even remember.
Well, yeah, I remember because you texted me out of the blue, and just all the text said was Unbroken. And I was like, good for you, babe.
No context. What's up, Bone Collector? I think you're forgetting a pivotal performance in Shark Tale.
Babe, The Bone Collector is not a good movie.
Maleficent. Yo, she rips in Maleficent. She is the titular Maleficent.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
I
That's all I got.
remember. When did Maleficent 2 come out? Can you have that pulled up there?
I've got 2014 for Maleficent 1.
But Maleficent 2 came out fairly recently, right?
2019.
Yeah, felt like it was just yesterday. I remember seeing that movie came out, and I was seeing something in the theater because it was a time when there was not a lot out, so that was like the big ad that was coming out. And that theatrical trailer was just like, this movie is going to be a fucking mess. Holy shit. Like, it was like incomprehensible what was actually happening or what. Yeah, I don't know.
I know.
And it also made like some weird sequels do, where they it made a very big deal of the fact that it was a sequel to Maleficent, a movie that like I don't think anyone really is like, I'm a huge Maleficent head.
I'm a huge Maleficent head. Let me stop you right there. It's got our girl, little neon demon.
Yeah, I know. So does Maleficent too.
And yeah,
Spoiler.
there are two Maleficent, two demons in there.
Yeah.
You gotta check it out.
Isn't it like about the witch from that stupid musical or some shit?
Cinderella?
I don't fucking know, dude. I don't fucking know anything.
Snow White?
I've forgotten how to talk about
I'm not doing my fairy tales right.
Yeah.
I'm fucking this up.
We watched Beau is Afraid. Now I've forgotten how to talk about films
Oh my
ever
God,
again. Yeah.
Beau is afraid. Pri is afraid to ever go back to the cinemas
Beau
lest
is-
she be lulled to sleep
Beau
for
is
3
too
hours.
long.
Fucking Beau is a bore.
Beau has a lot. Do you want to talk about the plot?
I think we already talked about the plot. The plot is that
Come on. hold
Nicolas Cage's brother Kip, played by Giovanni Ribisi, is just a little firecracker. The guy.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm out here stealing cars.
on. I just want to warn everyone. I'm going into this raw. I have not written down anything about the plot because
Yeah.
I didn't have time.
Just like the director.
But here we go. Yeah.
He came onto the
I'm
set.
just fucking making it up as I go along.
Perfect.
So Kip steals a Porsche.
Kip steals a bunch of cars and gets in trouble with this Scottish guy.
Scott, I think he's British. Come on.
With this
Christopher
British
Eccleston.
guy.
Yeah.
You're
Doctor
right.
Who. One
Scots,
of the 400 Doctor Who's.
Scots are not capable of evil, so you're totally right.
Yeah,
He's
true.
British, and he's what? There's this fantastic line in the film where he's polluting the underbelly of a soft pig, like L.A.
I have no idea. Christopher Eccleston I like in this movie because he is being a villain,
Yeah,
and there is actually
so
there
bad.
he's actually kind of a good villain, and he's in a bad film.
He's a bad
But-
villain in a bad film.
You don't think he's a good villain?
He is horrendous. He famously has said in interviews, like, yeah, that movie sucked and I sucked in it.
Yeah,
'cause
he's
I
right. Yeah.
was not doing a good job and I didn't want to.
I disagree. I think he's good in this. Chris, I think you're good
Chris,
in this
if you're
movie.
listening,
There's this part close to the end. We're gonna skip the whole plot. No, I just want to mention there's a part at the end in the climactic bit which fucking sucks in this movie when he has Delroy Lindo. He's got the gun on him,
yeah.
and he's like pointing the gun at him. Delroy Lindo's like, "You don't want to do this." He's like, "Yeah, I do." I'm like, that's some good
Cool.
villainy.
Yeah.
And then when he's like, if you shoot a cop, your life will be over. And he's like, no, you got that the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Your life will be over, which I do
Hey.
think is a good line.
All right, Dad. Fucking my
Anyway,
life is
Christopher
over.
Eccleston, I like you in this movie, and maybe it's because I have bad taste. Probably is, but whatever. So
he you know what? Not all villains can have a thing where they're super into cats or like have a menacing, effeminate voice. His whole evil thing is that he's super into woodworking.
fucking into wood.
Yeah.
Also, so 1 sec. I want to talk about the wood bit in a second, but basically, Kip fucks up this job. The cops bust them up. He doesn't steal all the cars in time
He's
that are on the
supposed to
list.
steal 50 cars.
50 cars with his gang, including Scott Conn. We're talking about another Scott Conn joint. And then Atlee, played by Will Patton, goes out to find Memphis, played by Nick Cage, who is a retired car thief, a legendary retired car thief.
Kip's brother.
Kip's older brother, and says, "Hey, your brother fucked up. We need you to come back and sort it out." Nick Cage comes back, and he goes to find his brother, who's been taken by what is his name? What's Eccleston's
not
name?
Raymond, but
Calitri.
Calitri.
And he goes to get his brother back and stuff, and Calitri basically coerces him into doing the 50 car boost to make some money and save his brother from
In
death.
3 days.
Now, one thing that is like it's a little stupid cinematic flourish that now that we're talking about it makes no fucking sense.
Oh, really? Now it doesn't make sense?
It's the only big plot hole in this film. No. So Calitri, he's like a carpenter, right? He makes all
Yeah.
this wood stuff. And there's a point where he's like, "Oh, I made this." And he unveils a beautiful coffin.
Yes.
And he's like, "It's my first one. Your brother's going in it," basically. And it's
Mhm.
like, you could sell that for like a lot of money.
Mhm.
Like you could make like a business.
That could be your
But
business.
It's
yeah.
like really nice of this evil villain to make
But,
a
you
coffin
know,
for this.
it's
fucking-
like my girl-
for a dude he's gonna crush to death in a car.
It's like my girl Angelina Jolie says later on. If you got to work harder, it makes less money. So That's why Kalitri is a card.
Yeah,
theft
you got to work
thief.
twice as hard when it's honest.
There you go.
Yeah, see, you're fucking quoting this shit. It rips.
All
man.
right, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate
Babe,
this
I got
for
a
me.
question for you. Speaking of Jolie,
Go on.
what do you think's more exciting? Having sex or boosting cars?
You know what? If like Nick Cage is involved, I'm gonna be boosting cars nonstop. We're
right.
not even gonna have time
I gotta
for
follow up.
anything but that.
I got a follow up for you. What do you think's more exciting? Having sex or podcasting? Boosting cars or podcasting?
The audience doesn't know we're doing both right now.
Oh my god.
I mean, boosting cars and
we're in a
podcasting.
stolen vehicle as we
Yes.
do this. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
So
Gosh.
Memphis basically he's like sworn off of car thievery, and he goes and basically says like, Kip, you're fucked. I don't want to help you and stuff. But then he goes to his mom, and his mom's like, just do whatever you can to get him out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene at the famous diner that's only ever used for films. It's not an actual diner. It's in Training Day. It's in Seven. It's
Oh,
in
very
also-
cool.
Yeah, it's famous.
Hell yeah.
I do like the scene when Giovanni Ribisi makes him breakfast, and he's like, "What'd you put in it?" He's like, "I don't know."
I don't know. And it's just like 3 fistfuls of salt.
He spilled the salt in it. Yeah.
There is a point where Nicolas Cage obviously rolls back into town, and he is a famed car thief, just one of the best in LA. So the two main detectives on this case roll up to him and be like,
Delroy Lindo and
Timothy Oliphant,
Timothy
baby.
Oliphant.
Oh, this movie should be 17 people who are just him.
This movie is the fucking. It's stacked like Enemy of the State. It's
It's-
fucking face after face
God.
after face.
But
Yeah.
the impact is not there. So anyway, we'll come back to it. He, both the detectives are like, oh, look, Memphis is back in town. Let's just stay on his tail. So Memphis is like, all right, cool. I'm going to go get the same gang that this detective is familiar with to steal a bunch of cars in the next 3 days.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
This guy's a famed fucking car thief.
Yeah.
This guy's the thiefiest of thieves.
My favorite scene in the film is after he visits his mom and he goes outside and Delroy Lindo is there. And just it's my favorite because the way Delroy Lindo is like, and this guy who called me, he said, "You'll never believe it. I saw Memphis Rains." I said, "No, you didn't." He said, "Yes, I did." I said, "No, you didn't." He said, "Yes, I did. I'll bet you $20 that I just saw Memphis Rains." Nicolas Cage is like, "You guys said a lot."
Oh, that's the most this movie has anything in terms of like a riveting back and forth for dialogue.
The Delroy Lindo is such a good actor, and he
Yeah.
is actually good in this, and I do like him. And much like Will Patton, he's just like he's taking it very seriously. He's like straight down the line. And like when Timothy Oliphant's like, "Your wife's mean."
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Will you take your glasses off, please, when you talk to me? Just take your glasses.
See, I like that stuff.
That was
right?
sweet. Yeah.
The thing is like there's the brilliance of this film is like, so Cage is obviously like the good guy,
yeah.
and then there's kind of like levels of villainy, quote unquote, and like Delroy Lindo is a good guy just trying to do his job.
Yeah.
And then Kalitri is like a fucking asshole, basically, right?
I've seen this movie a sum total of 1.5 times.
Yeah, lame.
And
You haven't lived.
through fair deal of struggle trying to get through after the first 30 minutes. But the last 30 minutes of this film, is it just all of Ambulance with Jake Gyllenhaal?
I've never seen Ambulance. I haven't yet to have the pleasure, but
Okay.
probably, yeah.
You know what?
Pretty
Maybe
much.
you don't have to, because now that you've seen Gone in 60 Seconds.
I'm jacked for it. I need more.
A lot.
actually, yeah.
There you go. This is the sequel you wanted, and it's in the form of Ambulance. So
Yeah.
you're welcome.
So Nick Cage decides to get the gang back together, the old gang back together to do this job to help
his
Kip.
brother out.
And so he gets Donnie Astricky, the guy, the driving instructor. He gets Vinnie Jones.
He gets Vinnie Jones.
He comes
who
to
is
Robert Duvall.
Vinnie Jones is a mortician.
He's like a coroner or
He's a
something, which I'm
coroner
kind of
who
like,
is-
dude, are you like highly educated? Like, how did you get this job? Like, what do you do?
Well, maybe he's got mad talent, but he's a mute for the
Yeah.
entirety of the film.
Yeah, it's a very strange.
So
yeah.
cool. Vinnie Jones, not a word spoken.
Yeah, and then Robert Duvall, and they're gonna do it, and then he tries to get Jolie, but she says no. She eventually shows up and does it. Yeah.
Scott Kahn shows up at some point with
Well, he tells Kip to stay out of it, right?
Right,
And then Kip
okay,
shows up
okay.
with his buddies, and he's like, "No, we're the young guys, and we got all these talents like computers. Go, Toby." And Toby, yeah.
Is that why Scott Kahn's name is Tumblr? Because they're super into social media?
No, he invented Tumblr, babe.
What if the other guy was like, oh no, Pinterest died?
This is
No.
Friendster. Yeah, okay. All right, save it for your stand-up routine.
MySpace
Jeez.
got shot. Not my space.
One of them is named Mirror Man, the B grade Dave Chappelle.
There you go.
I assume it's because he only wears sunglasses ever.
Get your big ass out of the car.
And then Freb, obviously. Yeah. And then they decide to do this boost. But again, and then they go and they scout the cars, which I think is a good montage of stuff, basically.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like the part where they're playing the movie car trivia and stuff. I thought that was really good.
Dude, I saw this movie yesterday, and I have no memory of this car trivia
I've seen this movie so many times.
It escapes my
Yeah,
most
I remember
recent
all these
memory.
things. And then, this is kind of like lags in this bit a little bit, except for that montage. And then Freb steals a car accidentally, which is full of heroin. Right when, Delroy Lindo shows up at the shop.
Work.
Another good scene. I like
Yeah.
that. That's good. And this is a scene where I was like, the repartee between Nick Cage and Delroy Lindo, I was like, these guys just gotta fucking hold hands and
give
just
them a room already.
yeah,
God.
seriously.
It was
so
beautiful
good.
to behold.
The part where he's like letting him in the car and he's like, you probably know more about cars at this point than I do. He's like, you slipping on me? He's like, no, it's just your knowledge overwhelms me. Yeah, so good. Yeah.
How do you remember it this well?
Again, babe, 100 times. Brilliantly written and filmed piece of
boy.
cinema.
Yeah.
It's just so quotable and believable and beautiful. So there was like a whole other subplot with a guy played by Master P that we don't have to get into.
Fucking Master P.
Yeah. And then it's the boost, the night of the boost, which is generally like pretty good but not good.
So we can fast forward to the point where we learn that of the 50 cars that he has to steal in 3 days, he's stolen 49.
We can't fast forward. We cannot fast forward that part because the only scene I think there's like this scene where Cage and Jolie are about to have sex in this car while they're waiting for a couple to have sex, which is not good. But I have to say, man, this whatever song, and I didn't bother to look it up because I'm a pure journalist. Whatever song they play in that scene is like fucking perfect 2000s like love theme for these two characters. It's so good. Don't look it up. Don't look at it. You're reaching for your phone. Don't do it. But just it rules.
It is the cringest shit I've ever seen.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's such a hard watch because I mean, initially Angelina Jolie like slumps over from the passenger's side seat to the driver's side seat where Nick Cage is sitting. And then she's obviously like into it. She leans in. And somewhere halfway through, she's like, I can't do this. Just no. And then she moves away. But then he keeps like coaxing her back into this position again.
No, they were outside the car before. And then she goes in the car. And then they get, yes, 100%.
This is after they're already making out in the car where she like pulls away from him for a second. He coaxes her back in and then she pulls away permanently to leave the car to be like, oh, okay, we're going to do some spy shit now.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was a hard cringe watch because the whole time he's just bombing her with these like car metaphors or whatever. Like, booster, I hardly knew her.
No,
like,
he's not. He's talking about car stuff that we don't know anything about, but it's super like sexy and hot. We also, I forgot to mention that the part where Nicolas Cage is posing as someone trying to buy a really nice car, and he talks to the guy.
That's the
two Rogers
best
don't make a
scene.
right.
That is the best
That
scene.
is Nicolas Cage at his best, definitely.
That's the only note I have here in this entire file. Two Rogers don't make a right. Ha 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 ha. He does the fakest
Seriously, if just go look up that line on YouTube because I'm not going to do it into the mic because it's super loud, but the way he like guffaws after is so funny. And yeah. Anyway, so they steal all these cars. Toby gets shot. They're pretty much there, and then Nick has to go steal the final car, and he doesn't have much time left. He has to steal the final car, which is the 67 GT500 Shelby Mustang Eleanor, which he's never been successfully able to steal in the past.
That's right.
And then there's a big action set piece, a huge fucking chase, which is just like crazy. And and it ends with, so I want to just bring up one point. Like, the chase is fine. Like, it's okay. At the end, he jumps the car over this massive, like, backup on the bridge. And, like, that's how he gets away,
He
right?
evades the traffic.
Now, that is a ridiculous scene.
Yes.
But is it any more ridiculous than the ending of Fast and the Furious 1?
No, and
which
you know
is
what?
100% one of the stupidest endings of all time.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that this scene made it in this movie where Nick Cage's character fucking daredevils over 600 cars as he flies into the air and lands on the other side. Great. Because now this is the movie that I was hoping to see.
You know
but
what?
then they kind of trick you into being like, oh, it's going to be a bit like Ocean's 11 or something. Oh, it's going to be a little heisty. There's going to be plot and intrigue, and there's none of that. There's just some cold action, and then halfway through the movie, the color tone changes to sepia brown or whatever.
The color, the filming, the cinematography is all over the place.
Every car chase scene is just LA, but it's cloudy as fuck, and it's all like a weird, are we in Mexico?
Post-rain Long Beach.
What the hell just happened?
So here's the problem, and I remember thinking this when I was a young child seeing this movie. My favorite part of that sequence is when he outruns the helicopter in the river basin.
Yes.
And I always thought that should be the climactic scene,
right?
You know,
and there's like 90 minutes left after that to like.
There's
more
like
shit.
That's during the first part of the chase sequence,
Good
and there is
God.
like 2 or 3 other parts to follow.
Yep.
And not to mention, so after he escapes, then he doesn't even they don't even make it.
No.
And they just shred the car. They take Memphis to kill him, and then he kills Christopher Eccleston, and that's it, basically.
Hey, fun fact: that car chase scene with the helicopter hovering over the bridge thingy, same scene, except replace the car for an ambulance, and you've got the movie Ambulance.
I do like that the button for the nitrous oxide says "Go baby go" on it when he presses it.
Yeah.
But have you seen Fast and the Furious 1?
God, no.
The ending.
I mean, I have.
The
but
ending
yes.
is like brain dead. It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's not so
I'm gonna
much.
say something awful. But
Yeah, don't. But it's not so much like this movie. I was always kind of like, well, I mean, the ending is fine, but the ending of Fast and Furious is just like, horrid. Yeah.
We go into certain films expecting that quality. I just didn't expect it to be this low for 60 seconds.
Really?
And that's what fucking it got me off guard. Yeah, man. I wanted it to be goofy or like
it is
strange.
It is goofy though. It is.
It's.
I think there's lots of like funny bits in this film.
There's maybe 3. All right, and they're
perform them right now.
There's one my God, you cannot doubt Nick Cage just dominating that car salesman scene where he's dressed in a suit and he goes,
fantastic. Yeah.
"Your name's Roger, my name's Roger. 2 Rogers don't make a right." Haha. Fantastic. And then there's another one where he's pretty restrained in the rest of the film, but then there's moments of silence where you can see his face change and he does like a 2-finger gun point or whatever, and then he's just like, "All right, follow me." And it's
the lowrider scene sequence is good too. When they're getting ready, they play lowrider. It's like, okay, let's go.
That's the one. That's exactly.
Also,
the one.
I do love at the end. He's so unhinged when he's like, it's like 80K of damage. So you take 80, you take that away from 200, and we call it a deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 scenes. Yeah. And this movie could have been 60 seconds long. And regrettably, we got 2 hours.
It's a thrill ride. I love it.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, gone in 60 seconds.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I just chose this movie at random. That's kind of how we do it. You chose Ace Ventura, so come on.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's because I got great taste, baby.
But we just had to get this one. Just fucking.
Is this the first Nick Cage movie we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But like, you know
And the
what?
best,
The
yeah.
rest of them are all masterpieces that belong on a podcast that is about superior films.
There's got to be a podcast out there dedicated entirely to Nicolas
I'm
Cage.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he deserves to be on all
There
of
is
them.
probably many episodes of this film that people have talked about. Like
Oof.
it's not like an unpopular movie.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think most
It's like,
people are kind of like, yeah, it's not good, but
is it more of
whatever.
a nostalgic thing at this point, right?
probably
Than
for a lot of people, yeah.
in a way that Michael Bay is like, all right. But
Michael Bay is shockingly bad in lots of ways, you know.
yes.
Not that like he's obviously a filmmaker who can get things done, but like The Rock is just bad. This is not a good movie. Like we talked about Pearl Harbor, please go back and listen. It's one of the greatest action films of all time. But Michael Bay is clearly like he's a really good action filmmaker.
Yeah.
But like even something in The Rock, it just isn't very good. And it's the same. As I said, I think fucking Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 is really awful as well. It's like weirdly, I think Pearl Harbor is one of his better movies, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like this movie, I think is competently made. I don't think there's like really bad filmmaking in this. It's
No.
just like it's the script and it's the characters, I think, that
That's
kind of
it.
let it down.
That's
and
it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It fails to be fully an action because it tries to be a little bit more of a heist in a way that it's like, oh, there's mystery and intrigue and some.
I disagree. I
just don't see
think
it.
it tries too much to be an action.
But it should be. It should entirely be an action.
I think there's too much action to it. That's the thing. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I think we watched two separate films, although I split this movie over a course of 3 days because it took me.
Why
that
would
long
you ever
to-
do that? Yeah. You were at the thrill. You're just like, oh, I need to take a break. It's too thrilling.
That's a cool off.
Too much of a thrill ride.
60
being in
seconds
this
later.
car. Go, baby, go. Yeah.
Oh god.
I don't know. I don't know.
This is our movie. This is our. I don't feel very passionately
Excuse me.
about it.
I want to be clear. I like this movie. I think people can tell. And I'm a pro Gone in 60 Seconds. Okay. But much like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Two Rogers don't make a right.
Hey.
I don't think it's good.
No.
But kind of like the butterfly effect, it's still like a competently made film. You know, I'm not gonna fucking be. And the thing is too is like I grouse about like Fast and Furious, but it is kind of like, well, Fast and Furious 1 is like just as good. Like there's some sort of je ne sais quoi that makes Fast and the Furious take off into this huge franchise,
Right.
that you know that this movie just didn't have.
There's also a lot more cars, or at least more screen time for cars in FF than there is in this film, where it's more face time for people than there's cars.
Yeah, you know what's something I regret about this movie, that, like I said, coming back to the competence porn idea, right, is like there's a major plot point is these laser cut keys they need to take to steal these Mercedes cars, which are supposed to be unstealable. I don't think you ever get a look at those cars. And I'm like, I want to see more of that, you know? Whereas Fast and the Furious is like, those movies are shot, like, half of it is shot by, like, a music video director.
It's like an advertisement
Yeah.
for the car.
Yeah.
That car is 90% of the scene.
Oh, yeah. There's the only reason I know what a Nissan Skyline is because of that fucking
shit.
movie, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I don't know.
That's not the case here. Because if you have so many characters, you kind of want their interaction to be gripping enough to hold your attention, and that's where I don't want to give a weird high-minded take of fucking 60
Does Fast and the Furious
seconds.
do that better than this movie?
No, Fast and the Furious doesn't need to do it at all, and that's why it's a success, because it does it despite its content. This movie needs to have people say things that are worth listening to because there's so many faces, and we don't get enough of that. Or we get it and it's poorly delivered.
Here's maybe we can agree on this. Fast and the Furious knows how janky it is.
Yeah.
And this movie was honestly trying to be a little more
trying to be
than
serious.
that, and it failed, and that's
Yeah.
kind of the problem.
It's like Scott Conn trying to be a real person or a serious actor. It's like, no. Scott Conn's going to be that level of fame that Scott Conn is at.
He's a figment of our collective imagination.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tumblr? You got any serious thoughts brewing?
No, I've kind of said everything. That's why I was just checking to make sure that
I have a pivotal top 5.
You have a top 5. We'll bring back the top 5.
Damn right.
What's up?
Top 5 hairdos for Angelina Jolie as an alternative to this rat's bathwater hair that she's got fucking going on right now.
Mohawk. Go.
Number 1 mohawk? Hell yeah. That'd be pretty cool. That would give her somewhat of an edge.
She looks like she's like a raider from Fallout New Vegas or something.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's just what is happening there. Mohawk, definitely. I was also thinking of Skrillex hair. Where it's like one side shoop and the other side all.
Did you know that Angelina Jolie is actually Skrillex? You didn't know that, right?
Nailed it.
We can talk more about it when we talk about Spring Breakers.
Yeah. Another one that I was thinking of is just all bald, just all gone.
That would have been way better.
So fucking sick, right?
Yeah.
The helmet, no problem. She could slide it on and off without the scene having to be cut back and forth, not needing a body double.
The scene where her stunt double rides up and her hair is just stuffed into the helmet. Yeah,
tangled.
Jolie went bald in something. Did she not?
I don't remember, man.
I'm sure she has.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bald. But like, I'm talking bald. None of this, close cut shit. We're not talking arm. We're calling all off.
Yeah.
Smooth as a baby's butt.
Mm-hmm.
We got mohawk.
Bald.
We got bald. We got
Skrillex.
A mullet. And Angelina Jolie.
She's got the
mullet.
lips for a mustache, that
She
like
does.
kind of her like a handlebar could really rest on those lips.
I don't know if you know, but a mullet is super in now.
Yeah, we talked about that at Ace Ventura. That guy had
ladies making it look super hot. And
a lady mullet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where you said
you can sound how enthusiastic I am about that.
There was so much sincerity in your a lady mullet.
Oh, a lady mullet.
Do tell. That was so cute. Okay.
It's because I'm 60 years old.
It's not.
In my day, the party was all over the head.
You're thinking Joe Dirt. I'm thinking Jolie. That's our difference there. Hey. And the number one hair.
Just in the world.
I'm realizing now I had 4 in the bag. I'm going to ponder over the number 1 hairdo for Angelina Jolie.
We'll release a bonus episode of number 1 hair. What if it was like Patrick Bateman, like Christian Bale?
Oh, shit. That's it.
Kind of slick back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like real butch.
Yeah, I guess so.
Super short.
She'd have to wear like a suit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
What color would it be?
Pinstripe.
Perfect.
Black pinstripe. Or whatever he wears in American Psycho.
I meant
red
the hair
tie.
color, but you're right.
Oh,
Pinstripe
brown.
suit.
Like Christian Bale's hair. Just fucking
just
take
exactly.
It, just lift it off, stick it on her head, and just call it a day.
She never gets in a bike. She's always in a Mercedes. Or whatever fucking car she drives. And the thing, it's great. She has a briefcase. She's like, all right, I'm heist ready. Top 5 hairs. God.
We nailed 4 of those.
We didn't even introduce the podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Low Ceiling. I'm John.
And I'm Bree.
It's always in these cases where we're super excited to talk about a seminal film from our childhood. We get too fucking just want to go. Much like a car, we want to fucking just hop in and blast upon springs, as Nicolas Cage says.
There you go. Wow.
Waiting to be plucked. That actually sounded more like Christian Bale in American Psycho.
Thank you. Yeah. It's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow.
Any more thoughts about this movie? You gonna watch it again?
This is the lowest of the low ceilings, my friends.
Hey, fucking killed it at the box office, all right?
Oh.
Yeah, it did.
Of course.
Big blockbuster.
It's all in the hair.
Hell yeah. Well, this has been the Low Ceiling. You get a double introduction now.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.